get ready. Get your pen and your paper out, get your camera out, get whatever you got to get, pause the video, come back, because you're going to want to take notes in this video. I have a couple of success stories to share with you that are going to help you really see what it means to be in the flow and receive. The receiving mode, whatever, swimming upstream, whatever you want to call it. In this video, I'm going to hit inspired action, inspired feelings, inspired thoughts, how manifesting actually works. This is going to be a master lesson in manifesting to debunk so many things, and I want to show you what is actually happening when you are manifesting. Because when you understand that you are the only one in charge, this will blow your mind away. You can have anything you desire when you understand the law. Welcome, my name is Rose, and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you know what to do. Go to RoseyLife.com, and if you want to join the Rosey Life course and community, where I answer questions live in a Q&A every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time, you can join there. And there's a 12-part self-paced lesson for you to get your eyes off of the 3D and into your power, because this is not something that we're taught, you guys. We're not taught to go within for all the answers. We're not taught to focus on what we want. We're taught to ignore our thoughts, ignore our feelings, and actually focus on what other people need and what other people want, and how to make things happen by doing hard work and going to get stuff done. These lessons start to help you take your focus off of that and into your power, where all the magic is happening, whether you see it or not. All right, so let's get to the story. You guys, I have so many success stories to share with you, and I was thinking about which one I wanted to share today, and then a couple of them really stuck out to me. And both of these stories are from clients. One of them is a current client. The other one, I've worked with her quite a few times, and she's in the Rosey Life course and community. And they both are powerful manifestors, and they are both manifesting and unfolding many, many things that they desire. They're not done. They're just getting started, you guys. But one of the things that I really want to address is, I'm going to share with you these two stories, and then we're going to pull them apart. And I'm going to leave you with a visual that I drew up for you, all right, on my little wise boards, 2-part wise board series today again, okay? And you will never forget how this works after you finish watching what I'm going to show you with my drawing, all right? You guys, I'm not an artist. I never said I was, okay? So bear with me with my versions of my drawings. Okay, so let's get started with these two success stories. It says, first of all, I address it in the flow of life, okay? Because that is what they're doing. They are in the flow of life, and it's so cool, okay? So the first one I wanted to point out is she's a Rosey Life course member, and she's a client. And what she wrote in there, with her permission, she said, go ahead and share it. But she already posted this in the course and community last night. But she said that she was having problems with her car. Her and her mom both were having problems with their cars for a while. She said she noticed the story that she kept repeating, that they have problems with their car. She noticed the story and decided to change it. And she said, no, we have stable cars. That became her new story. And she said she was saying this for a couple months, still with fears and doubts, okay, and still with nothing changing. She changed the story though. So then she noticed, she says, okay, cars are having trouble, and she's been worried, and she felt like struggling, and then her mom was worried and struggling and panicking even about how they're going to pay for these things. So one day she's driving the car, and she says the oil light came on, okay? Now the oil light's coming on. And then the engine light came on. And she was driving on a highway, and she said the car started making a noise. And then her mom's car was making a noise. And so she's in the car's making a noise, the lights are going off, and the car starts slowing down. She says, like, almost like she was going to come to a complete stop. And she said, you know what, I'm going to turn around and go home. So she did that. And she said, I got nervous, and she was panicking, and she was coming up with all the worst case scenarios while this was going on. She says, but then she said, I told myself everything is okay. And then, I love this, she said, what would Rose say? What would Rose say? Just like throwing me in there. What would Rose say right now? And she said, I remembered by working with me, she says, feelings don't matter. So it's okay. She said that, in other words, what she's seeing happening does not matter. Doesn't matter as in her safety? Of course it does. But she said it doesn't matter that she was panicking. It doesn't matter that she was thinking of worst case scenarios and her thoughts and her feelings. It didn't matter that all the lights were going off. You guys, this is like perfect. Because this is how, I'm talking about a car, but I hope you guys are getting the bigger message here that this is not just a car. All the bells and whistles were going off. All the lights were saying, no, it's not happening, girl. You are not going to go anywhere. You are slowing the hell down. This car is kaput, right? You are like, no, the lights are going out. The car's physically slowing down, and she's freaking the hell out. But in the middle of all of this, she decides to go within and to say everything is okay, no matter how I feel, right? She remembered who she was. Even though she went to like, okay, what would Rose say here? That helped her. And it's okay, use that if you want to, if it helps you. It pulled her back into her power. And she said, feelings don't matter. And she even told her mom, we are powerful. Feelings don't matter. We are powerful. We deserve stable cars. So what happened? She said later in the story, she said that she took her and her mom's cars to the shop, and they checked them out. They tested them with the machines. They got under the hood. They took them out for a test drive. They did everything. They kept the cars all day, and they said, they called them. They said, we don't know. We can't find anything wrong with the car. And she laughed. She said, I remember my mom saying they're probably going to look at the car and say that we don't know what noise you're talking about. We don't hear anything. And those were the exact words that came out of the mechanic's mouth. They said, we don't hear any noise. We took the car for a drive. We tested it. We don't see anything wrong with the car. Your cars are fine. So she was like, I did that. Yes. So what happened? Was she really experiencing the car slowing down? Were the lights and whistles going off? Show her? No, it was showing her everything in the opposite. You guys, how many of you have experienced this where you're assuming and you've affirmed a new story, right? And you're like, well, it's been a couple months and nothing's happening. Do you see? And then what? You stand firm. That's what she did. She stood in her power and said, everything is okay. And she said, we are powerful. We deserve our stable cars. That was her assumption. That was her declaration. That was a standing order. Like Neville says, I love when he says that. That is a standing order, right? That the 3D with all its bells and whistles had to conform to her order. Okay, do you see that, you guys? So no matter what you see, no matter what you hear, no matter what it feels like, it does not matter. You stand down. It is a standing order because you are God. You are the universe. You are in charge. Your words are powerful, all right? So that is one story. And then this other story, you guys, this is story actually, he gave me permission to share the story, and he even gave me permission to use his name. He said, use my name, Rose. This is Michael. And you guys have already seen, I've already done several videos with his manifestation stories because this guy's on fire, okay? And he's commented in different videos already as well. And I just want to share this other story because sometimes he's talking to me and I start laughing and he's like, what? Because I see not only what he's doing in 3D as wonderful, but I start laughing because I see the bigger picture of what's happening, and he uses words sometimes not even realizing he's being moved to say things and he doesn't see it. So that's what I point out to him, and that is what I'm going to show you how and why I point it out to him, because I want to show you all that you all are so powerful, okay? And that's what's going to come up after this story. So with Michael, right, he's manifested some great things, you guys. He's like primo, okay, but he's been feeling down, recently, and sometimes he feels down and he's been doubting, okay, but he has been consistent. Michael has been consistently, right, working together with me, and even when he's doubting and he's at his worst, I don't care. I still stand down and hold that space for him because I know who the hell he is. And I know he gets whatever the hell he wants, just like all of you, just like me. Okay? So he was feeling down and doubting, but he said, you know what? No, I have too much evidence to know that I am in charge, that this manifesting, this stuff works. Okay, so what he was asking, he's in investments with properties. He's a pro at real estate, okay, and he's come up to a point where he has to make a decision on whether he needs to reinvest the funds from a property he sold, or if he just wants to cash out and pay the taxes. Okay, so he's been on the fence. He's not really sure what he wants to do. He doesn't know. Neither of them are really completely floating his boat. He wants to be smart. He wants to make the right decision. I get it. Okay, my question always is, it's not about taxes and financial decisions, because I don't give that kind of advice. My question will always be, has always been, and will always be, and still is what do you love? What floats your boat? What feels expansive? What makes you just feel good when you think about that decision? And that's what he did. He asked himself, what do I love? And he said, I'm a creator. He says, I'm a creator. In other words, what he's saying is, I'm not that guy that likes to own a building and sit around and just collect rent from tenants and do nothing. He said that just doesn't sound fun. That's just boring, just to sit there and do nothing. He says, I like to create things. I like to get my hands in their design properties and the walls and the configurations. He says, I like to create, Rose. And that's when I started laughing, one of the times that I've laughed with him. And he said, what's so funny? And I said, listen to what you're saying. You're saying I am a creator. Do you see that? Yes, you are. I kept telling him, yes, you are. You are a creator. And I said, not just in 3D, but yes, you are a creator. You are the one and only creator of your reality. That is why you get bored just sitting down collecting a paycheck. To some people, another person, that might sound like a dream. That might sound incredible, but not to him, because not only does he like to see things and expand things, right, but he's waking up to his power. He's like, I want to create. I'm a creator. Do you see this? He's taking his role in as his I am, and this is so wonderful. So he said, you know what? And so from that call, right, and this is how we've been working together for several weeks, but from this call, he shifted from announcing himself as a creator, right? That is who he is. That is what he loves. He went from, one of the things that he was struggling with is making decisions, because he was afraid that he'd make the wrong decision. So he would second guess and sit on the fence. And he said, no, this is who I am. I am a creator. He made a decision. And from that decision, his investment properties are just flowing. Everything, he's like, okay, this one needs an appraisal. Let's see what happens if it comes back good. Yes, it came back good. Let's see, it needs an inspection. Let's see what happens. And that came back good. He said, everything just keeps flowing. Everything just keeps flowing for him. And not only with properties, but also with his kids. His kids are coming around. He went from feeling frustrated and upset if they didn't come to see him, or when they would come to see him, or the coordination of how far they are and could they come, to allowing them to come. If you want to come, that's awesome. I love you. I want you. If you're too busy, that's okay. I understand. To, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to have fun. You can come when you want to or not. Do you see? He's in the flow. And not only that, but you guys, the ladies are coming around and hitting on him left and right. They're coming out of the woodworks for Michael. And he is having many opportunities to select who he wants. The guy's in the flow. He is in the flow. And the funny thing, I said, I am in the flow, because he even used those words. And this morning when I was getting ready, I was studying and I was reading something, and I thought, I'm going to tell Michael to order this book, because I just feel like it would be good for him right now at where he is. And when I work with my one-on-ones, I kind of can tell, because just read so much and studied so much, I can kind of tell after I get to know my clients, like what books I could suggest. You don't have to, but I can make recommendations like that easier, because I kind of know where they are. And I said, okay, I'm going to recommend it. I get on the end of the call with him, and I said, Michael, I said, I have a book that you might want to read. And he said, oh yeah, what? And I said, it's Eric Butterworth's In the Flow of Life. And he said, his jaw dropped. And he said, what? He said, he opened up his phone and he said, you said that to me a while ago and I didn't hear it. And he said, something told me to look at the suggestions on Amazon, and that book came up and I ordered it this morning. Wow. Do you see? That's a synchronicity. That's all of the flow. And even when we're on the phone, I said something about birds chirping, and he smiled and he said, a bird just landed on the chair right when you said that. And I said, do you see? I said, this is the beauty of being in the flow. It just flows, you guys. It just flow. And what did he do? He went within and identified himself as the one and only creator of his life. Just like the other client did, she claimed her power and said, nope, this is how it is. Okay, let's get into this deeper on why and how these clients got to this point, right? And you guys, it didn't happen in one day. I'm going to tell you that right now. And it's okay. So if you see manifestation videos who say, get this in 24 hours, get this in 2 minutes, get a text, get a call, get the money, get the la, all of this stuff immediately. Now. Okay, look, that is one way to do it. But I want to tell you that if you want your life to flow, and you don't want to have to do all that work of affirming, of visualizing, of being on top of your thoughts, right? You getting in the flow means you identifying yourself as I am, as the one and only cause of it all. You are the one and only cause of it all. That you and your Father are one, okay? And that whatever belongs to your Father or the universe or God, whatever word you want to call it, right, belongs to you. If it belongs to the universe, it has been given all to you. I know somebody made a comment and says, oh, she's talking about God, religion. He said, I'm out of here. And I want to tell you, and for any of others, you hear me quoting scripture, you hear me quoting God, right? It's interchangeable. It's metaphysical. All the stories in the Bible are metaphysical. They're not face value. They're metaphysical. Even Neville Goddard called it. He said it's a psychological drama about your life. Every character in there is a state of consciousness, meaning it's an identity, a version of you that you will be in or can go into whenever you want to. And it's showing you all the different versions of you, all the different power that you have. It has nothing to do with religion. Religion is man-made. okay? Religion is man-made, just like everything else here is. It's all man-made. That is not who this power is. Call it God, the unicorn, the kitty cat power, whatever you want to call it. On this channel, we call it God, because that is who I choose to refer it to. But you can easily just say the universe. Trust me, that power doesn't care if you call it, just like electricity. It doesn't care if you call it electricity. It'll ding you if you stick your finger in the socket. If you call it electricity, or you call it a panda bear, or you call it Buddha, it'll still shock you. It doesn't care, because that power just turns on, period. So don't get caught up in the names and religion and all the things that are man-made. That is not who this power is, okay? So here is my beautiful drawing of a train. I have made this reference already many times over years, and I've never drawn it until today, just for you. Okay, I call it the power train. And why I refer to it as a train is I wanted to give an easy analogy to show you, and even as a therapist, I'd refer to this in some ways, but I never drew this out, okay? But I wanted to give you a visual reference as to where your power lies, okay, and what happens, where do thoughts come from, where do inspired actions, inspired feelings, and all of that, where does all that come from, and how does it all play a role, and what is it that you can control, and what is it that you need to control, and what is it that you need to do or don't do, and all of those answers are right here, just all of it right here. So study this as much as you want to and let it sink in, because when you get this, you guys got it. First of all, that is you in the front of the train, whatever this, I think it's called a locomotive, right? The front of the train where the power is, right? That drives the train. So there's a little conductor in there, right? In charge. Okay, that power, right? That is your consciousness, all right? You are using your consciousness. The ability to, the mind, the ability to choose, the ability to decide, right? You are directing consciousness. And inside that consciousness, because my Father and I are one, but my Father is greater than I. You guys, I didn't even realize that until this moment, until I said that. How cool is that? My Father and I are one, but my Father's greater than I, okay? But you being in the Father, you have that power of the Father to choose to have anything you want, all right? So you make an assumption. A, here's the index. A, assumption. What is an assumption? A choice. An assumption is to believe in something that you have no proof of whatsoever. This is the law of assumption, right? So you make an assumption, or AKA choice, or that is your desire, because you have free will. You and the Father have free will, okay? God didn't make you and force you to have free will, but God made you in His image, and God is free will. God does and has whatever He wants, okay? So when God made you in His image, you have to be just like Him, and He couldn't force free will on you. Otherwise, that would be a condition, and then He could take it away. So He couldn't even do that. He couldn't even make you have free will. He had to make you in His image, which is all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent. Do you see? This is so powerful. Now, you make an assumption, okay? For example, you can make an assumption like my client did. I am the creator. That is who I am. And that assumption, right, that assumption now has been ordered. Once you order that, notice I drew a line here, your free will ends. No mas, it's over. Done. You don't get to decide. You don't control the thoughts. You don't control the feelings. You don't control the actions. You can try to control the feelings and thoughts and action, but it's not going to be what you want, because once you make an assumption, it happens automatically. And notice I put a little arrows here indicating that you're connected to the law, okay, because all of this is the law, right? You're connected, but this is where your free will ends. Your only role is to choose. You get to choose whatever you want, and that includes good, bad, or indifferent. So if you insist that it's hard to manifest, if you insist that there's bad people in the world, if you insist that only good things happen to certain people, if you insist that there's not enough money to go around the world, that is all your assumption. You have free will. You can think and choose and assume and believe whatever you want to. I'm not here to argue with you. No one's arguing with you. No one can argue with you because it's between you and the law. Anything you decide is between you and the law. It's not between you and me. It's between you and the law. Okay? So once you make an assumption, the law now begins to unfold through you. And what happens? You begin to have, I call them inspired thoughts. We hear so much about inspired actions, right? Inspired action, inspired action. Well, guess what? You don't only have inspired actions, my friends. You have inspired thoughts. What are inspired thoughts? Ideas. They are perspectives that you begin to have. You might start seeing things differently. You might start thinking of new ideas that you could have never had before. Just like Michael, I am a creator. He started having different ideas of things that he wants to do in real estate. Instead of being just an investor, he wants to do different creative ideas. Do you see? You might have new perspectives. He has new perspectives on what it means to spend time with himself, what it means to spend time with his kids, his family, his friends, what it means that what he wants for himself. Do you see? Now he has inspired thoughts. Well, guess what? Those thoughts produce inspired feelings. That's the next train. Do you see the order this is happening? So then you have inspired feelings. Okay, feelings come from the thoughts. Okay, it's this order. Feelings come from the thoughts. And I want to add here that it also includes physical sensations. So if you feel stressed, guess where you're going to feel it? Most people say in their shoulders or neck or their tummy. Some people might even feel stress in their feet. Everyone's different, right? Or you might get a headache. Or if you're happy, you feel it in your belly, in your chest, or you just feel your body feels lighter, right? Or if you're sad, right, you might feel it right here. Because in the psychology, a lot of research or people that studied the physical body between the mind and the body is that the throat, the neck, is a conduit between thought and feeling. And this is why many times people feel like they're choked up when they're going to cry, or if they're angry, and you notice like a lot of that. And these are things that I studied quite a bit as a psychotherapist as well, is that the feelings get lodged into thought. And this is why a lot of people might have a lot of coughing or different issues in the throat area, because they're trying to cut off from their feelings. But that's a psychological thing, and you can use it for your benefit in the 3D, because everything is game for us to use for our benefit. So use it if you will, or you want to. Okay, so physical sensations includes anything. Health issues. It can include just being nervous and you got to go diarrhea or something like that. All of that, okay? Feelings are all of our feelings and all our physical feelings. Okay, so that's here. And then at the end of the train is inspired action. Okay, inspired action includes, but not limited to, doing, walking, talking, sleeping, eating, moving, making decisions, any action at all. Inspired action, all physical action, internal action, making decisions, action. Notice the placement of where inspired action is on the train. And so many people get caught up with what's inspired action. Am I doing inspired action? Is this inspired action? Should I take inspired action? Remember, after this, you guys have it's like you are being moved. You don't even know it. You have no control, you guys, over inspired thoughts, inspired feelings, or inspired actions. You have no control. You don't even know you're doing these, because your assumption is what you chose, your desired end, okay, good, bad, or indifferent, is going to compel you to have inspired thoughts, inspired feelings and inspired actions. So if you're trying to fix in action, if you're trying to fix your feelings, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling bad and you're trying to avoid it, escape it, you're trying to pretend that you don't feel sad, you're trying to pretend that you don't feel like you're missing something, you're trying to pretend, right? Or you're trying to change your thoughts, you're trying to have different thoughts, better thoughts, right? All of this is not going to get you far. Will you get some movement from this? From doing assumptions or affirmations or those kind of things? Yeah, this right here is what therapy does, by the way. Right here, this is the world of therapy, because this is what I used to do for over a decade, you guys. I use choice theory, reality therapy, and I help people understand the cause of their feelings and actions was because of their thoughts. That what you really have control over is what your thoughts. I didn't know about this. Do you see? This I didn't think was a player in what we are able to do. But this is a cause of it all. Your assumption, remember, you and your Father are one, and you have your Father's will. You have your Father's power. You have the universe's power within you, that whatever you choose, you assume without the evidence. The law begins to work through you without your permission. Actually, you gave it permission when you assumed it, but it begins to work through you because you ordered it. And the law is like electricity. It doesn't care if you plug in a toaster or a Tesla. You said it, and it starts unfolding for you. And the more that you persist and you're like, I don't care, just like my client, all the bells and whistles in the car started going off, all the lights were going off, the car was slowing down, it was making weird noises, everything was looks like it was going to blow up, and she didn't care. She persisted in her assumption. She did not care. She knew that her feelings and her actions and her thoughts did not matter. She said it. Her feelings, her thoughts were not of concern. That only her assumption, only her declaration that everything is okay and that she's powerful and that they deserve to have stable cars, that is what won. That is what trumped all of it. Do you see that? This is not your concern. This is the law. This is you. You are the law. You are connected to that one. It's all one, okay? But this part is not your job description, only here. All right, my loves, I intend that this nailed it in a deeper way for you. Thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to The Rosey Life. I'm so excited watching The Rosey Life blow up. It's going to keep going because you guys are so cool. Thank you for sharing my content with other people so they know that I'm here too. I love you guys so, so much. And I really feel your love and your support. And it feels so, so good. Thank you so much again. And I will see you so soon because you all are so freaking amazing. Bye.